bulldozer blade for attachment to the medium tank is offered by the Corps of Engineers as a weapon of efficiency and adaptability. At Fort Pierce, Florida, it has been subjected to the most grueling experiments. Great stress is put on the rapid mounting of the blade assembly, its performance against various obstacles, and then the jettisoning of the blade and sidearms, reverting the tank to normal combat duties. This is a medium tank minus the bulldozer blade. It comes up against anti-vehicular obstacles just as it might in real battle. Tactically, bands of small movable obstructions, such as hedgehogs, present an effective barricade for the ordinary tank. Three rows of the steel hedgehogs, or concrete cylinders, will almost invariably immobilize a tank if an attempt is made to break through, as shown here. Remember the scenes you've just witnessed as we move on to a tank with dozer blade attached, ramming into the hedgehogs. It's going through without stopping. The tank dozer, that's what they call the combination, consists of a blade and sidearms mounted on front of the tank. They're supported by brackets which are now being placed on a medium tank. The installation of these track mounting brackets is not a major task. You merely remove several bolts and cap screws from the bogie suspension and fasten the new brackets in place. Thus, the blade and sidearms are so supported that they are free to move in a vertical plane. Also relatively simple is the installation of the hydraulic jack, which raises and lowers the blade. The jack support bracket is placed as shown. It fits on the front towing lugs and is secured with clamp bolts. The jack is then placed in the support frame. A pin will be put through the base and held by a cotter key. Hydraulic pressure for the jack is supplied by an oil pump, which in turn is powered by a power takeoff from the tank engine. Here you see the hose as it's connected to the base of the hydraulic jack and to the power line leading through the headlamp socket at the right of the tank. To protect the hydraulic setup from small arms fire, suitable armor is bolted on. Incidentally, a crew of 4 or 5 can complete the entire installation in a few hours. 2 or 3 men place the external mountings, while the other 2 handle the inside work, such as the oil reservoir tank. The outside men pass the material up to them, and they mount the oil supply unit directly over the transmission case. Next, the control valve assembly, which is fastened to the oil reservoir tank just shown. In addition, hose connections are made to the tank and to the power line leading outside to the hydraulic jack. Also joined to the control valve assembly is the hydraulic pump, now to be mounted on the pump support bracket. Operation of this pump entails a job previously done on the main propeller shaft, which is disconnected to the rear of the transmission, flanges and belts put around it, and then connected up again. These 2 V-belts, driven from the propeller shaft, are thus responsible for the functioning of the hydraulic pump. Before moving up for mounting the blade, make sure the external and internal mountings are satisfactorily completed, that the oil reservoir is filled, the hydraulic jack checked for proper operation. Keep the tank centered with the main frames on the blade. If the blade's blocked up properly and on good level ground, it'll take but 3 to 5 minutes to connect. First, pinning the jack to the jettison release tripod. Then securing the 2 sidearms on the track mounting brackets. The control cable for jettisoning the blade is fed inside the tank to the assistant driver through a bolt hole in front of the hull. Raising of the blade is accomplished by pulling back on the control valve handle or operating lever. The blade may be lowered by pushing the lever forward. When the pressure is released, the lever automatically returns to the hold position. To improve the vision of the driver during bulldozing operations, this new wide-angle lucite periscope has been devised. Listed as model T18, it'll be part of the standard bulldozer kit. Easy to install and replace, It has been found to be completely adequate for this type of work. Note the wider view through the improved periscope. And now the narrow vision slit through the ordinary tank periscope. Again, the model T18 periscope. The obstacle is always in clear view of the driver with a wide range of vision. In the Fort Pierce tank dozer tests, most of the work was done with the driver's hatch open. But here you see examples of the use of the new periscope and the tank buttoned up. The target is cylinders, and it should be noted how efficiently the tank dozer operates with the greater range of vision. Again, the new periscope is in use as an anti-tank ditch is tackled. Depending on design, this type of obstruction can be breached in elapsed time ranging from about 8 minutes to less than 3 minutes. The dozer blade does not interfere with the normal equipment of a waterproof tank. Here we see a tank dozer with waterproofing rig attached. In order to show how it performs under such conditions, we'll take it out into the water. First, moving it off an LCT. The tank dozer's assignment is to clear the way through underwater obstacles. At the moment, it's up against Jap scaffolding in 3 feet of water. It should be pointed out that in deeper water, the operation might be more difficult. But at this shallow depth, the piling presented a very slight obstacle and broke off with ease. Time to effect the breach, 21 seconds. Jap scullies, also in 3 feet of water, are next encountered. The dozer requires 32 seconds to dig out and move one of these obstructions. Incidentally, the driver must be alert against excessive spinning of the tracks in one place, as this digs a hole, making it possible to throw a track while maneuvering in the water. Jetted steel rails, in this case exposed at low tide, again present little difficulty. The dozer can pass through 4 rows of the rails without stopping in just 32 seconds. Log piling and stumps, which can go a long way toward slowing down a beachhead drive, are soft picking for the tank dozer. Without any difficulty at all, it clears a path in the elapsed time of 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Wall obstacles are next. In 40 seconds, a Japanese log wall can be reduced to a smooth passageway for our rolling stock. This type of job is mainly a matter of how much time it takes to move up sufficient dirt to build a ramp. However, the operator must be sure to make the ramp wide enough so the dozer doesn't side slip on the ramp and tip over or throw a track. A Jap stump wall. An important lesson learned during this particular operation is that the ramp should always be built the full height of the wall for quicker and easier breach. In one case, difficulty was experienced because the ramp was not built the full height of the wall and the dozer was unable to push over the top layer of stumps and sand. The time consumed in breaching the Jap stump wall was 7 minutes, 48 seconds. A 6x6 depressed concrete wall. When walls are breached by the tank dozer, it's to be assumed that anti-tank fire has become ineffective, and the presence of friendly troops makes it impractical to reduce the wall fortifications by blasting. After filling the anti-tank ditch in front of the wall, a ramp is formed down the far side. In coming down the rather steep slope, be careful the blade doesn't dig into the ground. The 6x6 wall is ramped and 100 feet of approach road built in 25 minutes. Steel tetrahedrons, when cabled together, present more of an obstacle than when not cabled together. It is found necessary to ramp over a single row of tetrahedrons cabled together. However, it's quite possible that if the row of tetrahedrons were anchored at both ends or extended for any distance, the dozer might shear the bolts or cable and break through without ramping. Concrete eggs can be taken in stride by the tank dozer. To uproot and push aside 3 of the eggs takes but 2 minutes, 35 seconds. The clearance provided through the egg speaks for itself. Again, there is no difficulty in gaining a pad, this time through concrete coffins. The Fort Pierce test crews found that 6 coffins could be uprooted and pushed aside in 1.5 minutes. Once more, there's a clear gap for vehicular movement. A good study of the blade's ability to handle difficult situations is possible with this attempt to negotiate curved steel rails. Without any difficulty, it pushes aside a 50-foot section in not too much more time than it takes to show this action on the screen. Breach is made by attacking the obstacle at a 45-degree angle. The results show bent steel beams, some of the bolts sheared, and adequate uprooting at the anchors. Enough to prove the dozer packs a wallop against a curved steel obstacle. Moving into the jungle, the tank dozer still has to win its spurs the hard way. Palmettos, small palms, and thick brush are pushed over with comparative ease. But it's found that large trees with big roots present a difficult obstruction. Yet they didn't stop the tank dozer for long. It either dug them out or moved around them. A lane the width of the blade and 300 feet long is cleared through the jungle in 10 minutes flat. Finally, the dozer is used to attack a log pillbox. Naturally, this particular operation is not tactically sound when the enemy has anti-tank weapons, but it could be used very effectively against personnel trapped inside the pillbox by first sealing up the entrance and machine gun ports, as vividly shown here. The dozer continues to pour on the dirt until a final blackout is achieved. That means the pillbox is sealed. Now we can proceed to tear up the pillbox. A record was made of how long it took to destroy one wing of a Japanese-type fortification. The exact time, 4.5 minutes. And there's the end of a pillbox. And we, too, have reached the end of this demonstration of the employment of the tank dozer. We have but to show the jettisoning of the blade from the tank. A mighty important job, remember that. The blade's dug into the ground. The jettison release cable pulled by the assistant driver, and that's about all there is to reverting the medium tank to normal combat duties. Its firepower, speed, and crew unhampered by the work it did with dozer blade attached, the tank is free to get in there and fight until the next time it receives the call to become a tank dozer.